Roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Well, we all knew it was too good to be true that the Exchange Stabilization Fund will be left without any funds. As we are reading here this morning as I got up, Pelosi's $2.5 trillion virus bill delays mortgage car payments. And then, just a couple of minutes ago, we have Nancy Pelosi is optimistic about a deal on $2.5 trillion stimulus bill that can be reached within a few hours. McConnell, we're on the 5-yard line. Now, what would this do? Well, first of all, take a look at what this Bloomberg article says. $2.5 trillion virus bill delays mortgage and car payments. So the banks are on their knees already, and now they're not going to get mortgage and car payments. Is that a big deal? It's not as big as you think because banks don't hold mortgages anymore. Banks don't hold car payments anymore. Where they're held is in the derivative market. In the derivative market is where they hold all the mortgage-backed securities. And by the way, who's buying all the mortgage-backed securities right now? The Federal Reserve. So the banks don't care. It's a pass-through cost. But they do care about the $4 or $5 billion reboot of the Exchange Stabilization Fund that they can leverage up to $4 trillion, $5 trillion. So yeah, the banker said, hey, Pelosi will agree to this because it doesn't hurt us. Just the other day, the Fed said they're going to buy up mortgage-backed securities and pretty much anything. So car payments are in a different kind of derivative. But none of this stuff is held in large amounts at banks anymore. So the Fed's going to be buying up all the stuff. Yeah, that was an easy giveaway to get their hands on the $4 or $5 trillion to rig the market. So, how long can this last? I don't know. I thought if they didn't approve this, it would have ended instantly. So we'll keep an eye on it. The bill hasn't been officially signed yet, but here's some interesting things for you crazy cryptocurrency people. New coronavirus stimulus bill in Congress creates a new U.S. digital dollar. As the markets continue to drop and the U.S. looks to Congress for agreement on a massive stimulus package to save the economy from impacts of the corona pandemic, the newest offer by House Democrats includes a very forward-looking kind of stimulus, the creation of a digital dollar that will establishment of digital dollar wallets. Can you say, hello, the beginnings of cryptocurrency in the United States? In what will send shockwaves through the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry, particularly for those following central bank digital currencies around the world, this signals the U.S. is serious in establishing infrastructure for a central bank digital currency. Both Nancy Pelosi's Take Financial Responsibility for Workers Family Act and the Financial Protections and Assistance for Americans, Consumers, States, Businesses, and Vulnerable Populations Act. Oh my God, are you kidding me? They couldn't figure out a better name than that. They want to make sure they cover everybody who gets bailed out. Introduced by Chairman Maxine Waters of the Financial Services Committee, introduced these concepts today as a way of delivering the economic stimulus to the U.S. citizens. So those of you wondering, well, how are they going to distribute the cryptocurrency to the citizens? There you go. Now, what kind of cryptocurrency is this? Is it backed by gold? Is it actually Bitcoin and Litecoin that the U.S. government holds? I don't know. The bill establishes a digital dollar, which it defines as, quote, a balance expressed as a dollar value consisting of digital ledger entries that are recorded as liabilities in the account of the Federal Reserve Bank or an electronic unit of value redeemable by an eligible financial institution as determined by the Federal Reserve System. Additionally, a digital dollar wallet is identified as a digital wallet or account maintained by a Federal Reserve Bank on behalf of any person that represents holdings in an electronic device or service that is used to store digital dollars that may be tied to digital or physical identity. There you have it. The beginnings of the new money for the United States. Don't know if it's good or bad. If it's just a digital dollar, we already have that. Why go through this rigmarole unless the old system is dying and a new system is being born? Now, it sounds like these digital dollars are going to be backed by something. And it says, Federal Reserve Bank, on behalf of any person that represents holdings in an electronic device or service that is used to store digital dollars that may be tied to a digital or physical identity. So it could be tied to gold, a physical identity, or Bitcoin, a digital identity. I think they're making it way too complex. And this is just the opening salvo, shall we say. So yes, the crypto universe is coming, and it's coming fast, so hang on tight. On a good note, for yours truly, the bankruptcy trustee of Mt. Gox has sent out an outline of how the funds will finally be distributed. Yes, this goes way back. I have, for those of you that don't know, I had one Bitcoin in Mt. Gox when it finally closed doors. That's how I learned the lesson of don't keep your assets in any exchange. Now, they have finally, after all these years, said, okay, here's how we're going to distribute the funds, and they're not going to sell all the Bitcoin, just what they need to settle. Well, actually, they're going to sell all the Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV. No, not Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Gold, everything but BTC and BCH. That's how important Bitcoin Cash is. And those they're not going to sell unless they need cash. They're going to give those back to the claimants. So I'll be getting a fraction of my Bitcoin back. How much? I don't know. But I mean, to me, that's good news. It's good news that at least I'm getting some Bitcoin back from this Mt. Gox trustee debacle. And yes, Nobuyuki Kobayashi, the attorney at law for the Mt. Gox trustee, was working hand in hand with Trump and the administration to crash the Bitcoin market in 2017 and 2018. Absolutely criminal. They've already admitted to it. The Christian Carlo has already admitted to it. It was Trump. It was Mnuchin. It was Christian Carlo, the head of the CFTC at the time. Michael Cohen. They got together and said, this is going too fast. We got to crush the crypto markets. So they got in touch with Nobuyuki Kobayashi, and they sold the huge amounts of the Mt. Gox Bitcoin. My Bitcoin was used to destroy the Bitcoin markets. That's the kind of criminality we're dealing with right now. Anyway, good news that at least I'll get a little bit of Bitcoin left from this bullshit. All right, here's the other thought I had. A lot of times when I'm doing research, I'll wake up to something, and that's kind of where the real good ideas come from. Be it spirit telling me, be it whatever you want to call it, that's where most of this stuff comes from on the road to Ruta. And Trump signs executive order to prohibit hoarding amid pandemic. As soon as I heard that, I was thinking, wait a minute, what kind of parameters around this hoarding law are there? And there's not many. There's not many at all. Quote, the order will prohibit hoarding of vital medical equipment and supplies such as hand sanitizers, face masks, and personal protective equipment. That's fine if that's what it says in the law or the executive order, and it's not what it says. It's very vague about what constitutes. They can basically name anything they want and say this is a vital product. U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday issued an executive order to prohibit hoarding or price gouging of medical supplies in the United States amid the coronavirus, which is claimed 400 lives. Quote, the order will prohibit hoarding of vital medical equipment and supplies such as hand sanitizers, face masks, and personal protective equipment, Trump said. We will not allow, now this is the key, we will not allow anyone to exploit the suffering of American citizens for their own profit. What if Trump applies that to a crashing of the monetary system, the moonshot of cryptos and gold and silver, and says, we will not allow anyone to exploit the suffering of American citizens for their own product? So Jamie Dimon, who has 1 billion ounces of silver, do you think that will be confiscated and nationalized? Most likely. Some of the crypto cabal, they'll go after them and say, hey, it's an executive order. We will not allow anyone to exploit the suffering of American citizens or their own profit. Bill Barr says, quote, I want to stress that we are not talking about consumers stockpiling supplies for their own needs. So they're going to put limits on whatever they confiscate. We're talking about people hoarding goods and materials on an industrial scale for the purpose of manipulating the market and deriving windfall profits. Can you say JP Morgan? That's perfect. We are talking about people hoarding goods and materials, silver, on an industrial scale, over 1 billion ounces, for the purpose of manipulating the market and deriving windfall profit. Talking on the worsening condition of the country due to COVID-19, he said, certainly this is going to be bad. We're trying to make it much less bad. Obviously, the numbers are going to increase with time and they're going to decrease. And then they're going to decrease. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to prevent hoarding and price gouging of supplies. Now, when silver rises to $100, $200, $300, they're going to say, oh, who's price gouging? Who's got all the silver? JP Morgan. So they can either fix the prices, and we all know that doesn't work for very long at all, or they can take JP Morgan's silver away and say, you bastards. So I looked at the order and I said, okay, what in this order is restricting silver out of this equation? And nothing really. Says, let's see, including the authority to prescribe conditions with respect to the accumulation of such resources as to designate any material as a scarce material, or as a material the supply of which would be threatened by persons accumulating the material in excess of reasonable demands of business, personal, or home consumption, or for the purpose of resale at prices exceeding the prevailing market prices. Jamie Dimon, you are in trouble with this one, my friend. And if you think silver couldn't be classified as medical, think again. Colloidal silver. It's always been medical. It's the best antiviral out there, in my opinion. So who's in charge of this? Is this guy, Alex Michael Azar. He is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. He's the guy who gets to say, okay, we need this material on this list. We need hand sanitizer on this list. We need masks. We need gloves. We need silver. We need silver? Hey, it's now legal for them to confiscate. All you guys are wondering, will the government confiscate gold and silver? If this is any sign, it's only in the big mother pluckers who are doing it. So, we'll see. I don't know how they're going to apply this thing. They can name any product they want. It is completely open-ended. No, I'm not a fan of this guy only because he went to Harvard, Yale. Not Harvard, Yale. Yale Law School and Harvard beforehand, I believe. Or was it? Hold on. Yale Law. He finished with a degree in Yale Law, and he was on the executive committee of the Yale Law Journal. Oh, he went to Dartmouth before that. Dartmouth and then Yale Law. Dartmouth, huh? Wasn't that when did he go there? No, it's way before his time. So yeah, he's a Yale boy. A little skull and bones action. Who knows what he's going to do, but this executive order pretty much leaves it open to confiscate anything on a larger scale. I don't think they're going to confiscate silver from the regular guys, but this does give him the authority to take Jamie Dimon's silver, if you ask me. Speaking of silver, right here, it's kind of allowed. It's allowed to go up and then slam down, up then slam down. Again, we're at, I think we hit over $14.20. Still massively undervalued, massively undervalued. And no, you cannot buy silver at $14 or $15 or $16 or $17. You can't find silver anywhere. Well, there's a few places. Andy still has some of his inventory left, I believe. Send an email to andy@milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. say you're a Roto-Rooter customer, and he will take care of you. And then let you know what the current status is of getting physical into your own possession. It is so important to get physical into your own possession. Just don't do 1 billion ounces worth, because Trump will come after you. Anyway, so much more to report, and things are changing. I do think they will sign the bill today, which will give the Exchange Stabilization Fund a little more money to do manipulations. We'll see. We'll see. Will they slam the price of cryptos down with that money? You don't need much money to slam the price of cryptos down, or silver, or anything really. But they lost 30 billion. The Exchange Stabilization Fund lost 30 billion in the latest manipulations. That's why our little friend Steve Mnuchin had to come back to the well and say, "Oh my God, we need more money in the Exchange Stabilization Fund." That's crazy. So they're going to lever that up to $4 to $5 trillion. And yeah, Mnuchin and Trump will give anything to the Democrats to get that manipulation money, because without it, the game is over. So I do believe they will sign it. If they don't, look for massive chaos. This is Bix signing out.